Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Okay, so it's been a couple weeks here, and already politics becomes interesting again. You gotta admit, if we're speaking about change in the world of politics, Donald Trump certainly seems to bring it. But of course, if you take a sharp right turn or sharp left turn, you might encounter a little bit of turbulence, maybe a couple of G-forces. And so I guess the turbulence has already started. We got a lot of moving pieces of the puzzle here, and the latest move is Matt Gaetz withdrawing his name from consideration for the role of Attorney General. And of course, face value, it's unfortunate news, and some people on the left are trying to run with it as some sort of big victory, but it might be none of those things. What it might actually be is just a pivot in the plan. Let me update you guys on everything happening surrounding this Matt Gaetz withdrawal. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright, so let's start off with the news.
We have breaking news this hour. Matt Gaetz is stepping down from his nomination to Attorney General of the United States. Many said this was the most contentious of the nominations made by former President Trump. And he has announced categorically that he will not be seeking confirmation to the post of Attorney General. Here are his words. I had an excellent meeting with senators yesterday. I appreciate their thoughtful feedback and the incredible support of so many. While the momentum was strong, it is clear that my confirmation was unfairly becoming a distraction to the critical work of the Trump-Vance transition. There's no time to waste on a needlessly protracted Washington scuffle. Thus, I'll be withdrawing my name from consideration to serve as Attorney General. Trump's DOJ must be in place and ready on day one. I remain fully committed to seeing that Donald J. Trump is the most successful president in history. Look, Griff, this was quick. The appointment came.
Matt Gaetz officially withdraws his name from the process. Donald Trump added a little bit of clarity. He wrote on Truth Social that he greatly appreciates the recent efforts of Matt Gaetz in seeking approval to be Attorney General. He was doing very well, but at the same time, did not want to be a distraction for the administration, for which he has much respect. Matt has a wonderful future, and I look forward to watch all of the great things that he will do. So all around, seems like it might have been the right decision in a way. I think the mainstream media's characterization as this is some sort of debacle or embarrassment for the Trump White House is a little bit of a stretch, to say the least. I personally view this a little bit differently. I view it as a little bit of an unexpected, but honestly, very classy move by Matt Gaetz. Imagine being on the brink of one of the most powerful positions in the federal government to be Attorney General potentially under Donald Trump and choosing to step back because you didn't want to become too much of a distraction. It's really a decision that not many people would make. I think most people would have tried to withstand it all the media attacks and smears, and hopefully try to get nominated in the end, especially since it's mostly expected these days, following what we saw with Brett Kavanaugh. But Matt Gaetz, once again, he shows us the kind of character that he has. It seems like time and time again, when tested, he proves to do the right thing, or what he believes is the right thing, for the administration and the Trump base. And now, of course, to the obvious question, well, what happens next? I think if I were to speak on behalf of the average Trump supporter, I'd say that we're pretty excited for someone like Matt Gaetz to be the top cop in the country. And so in a way, it feels like one of those situations where there's kind of big shoes to fill. Even though Matt Gaetz never actually assumed the role, there's a certain standard or level of expectation now that the next person who comes in just has to be a bulldog, somebody willing to stand up to the Washington machine and work on behalf of the people. The next name that follows here, the next nominee, needs to be not only somebody who's competent, but somebody who is fearless and deeply committed to rooting out corruption, but most importantly, somebody who has shown immunity to being compromised by Washington's power games. And well, literally as I'm saying this, look what's just announced. Donald Trump has already made a replacement pick for Matt Gaetz to fill this role. This is breaking as I'm recording this. You guys probably already know the next morning. But Donald Trump has officially picked the former Florida Attorney General, Pam Bondi. And already I'm seeing a flood of comments already hitting. Oh, the deep state won, the deep state won. I'm a little bit confused where this is coming from because Pam Bondi, well, she's the real deal. She's Trump all the way and has been.
When Republicans take back the White House, you know what's going to happen? The Department of Justice, the prosecutors will be prosecuted, the bad ones. The investigators will be investigated because the deep state, last term for President Trump, they were hiding in the shadows. But now they have a spotlight on them, and they can all be investigated. Murderers, from Venezuelan prisoners coming straight into our country. They are coming to a town near you. It should scare and terrify everyone in this country. This is just one big press conference trying to smear Donald Trump, trying to hurt Donald Trump. Listen, all the rights here, I'm a prosecutor, former prosecutor. Yeah, all the rights here go to the defendant because it's his liberty at stake, and that has not been happening in this courtroom. This case should have never, ever been brought.
You know, it seems like a lot of people are thinking that this Pam Bondi pick is some establishment pick just because she's had all the titles. I mean, she's got the accolades, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Pam Bondi has been working with the Trump administration and the Trump campaign for a very long time. She's actually been a key consultant to the president on many occasions. And so, you know, this is kind of looking like it might have been a little bit of a bait and switch. The leftoids thought it was this big victory. We're already showing up this Trump pick. We got him wrapped around our fingers. Matt Gaetz blocked. But I think Matt Gaetz might have been the bait. You know, a question that a lot of people are asking is what happens with Matt Gaetz right now? What does he do? He resigned his seat in Congress. He's now essentially a free agent. Where is he going to go? Some people have been floating that Matt Gaetz would serve a better purpose being in the public eye and possibly taking that Marco Rubio Senate seat. But Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' team has already essentially indicated that that's probably not going to happen, even though it probably would have been a legendary move. But I'm learning, or at least word on the street is, that Matt Gaetz resigned this term in Congress. That's the 118th Congress. He hasn't stepped down or resigned his position in Congress for the upcoming 119th session. In other words, this whole thing might have been an orchestrated plan where Matt Gaetz pretends like it's the real deal, folks. He's already resigned his seat. Holy moly. He really thinks he's going to be Attorney General, but it was just a bait to expose the neocons. Already, Donald Trump sees who's going to be trouble. There were 4 names released publicly yesterday, 4 Republicans who locked in that they were going to block Matt Gaetz' nomination, or rather confirmation, and now Donald Trump has essentially seen exactly what he needs to see, and so Matt Gaetz steps down, goes right back to Congress, doing essentially what he does best, holding Republican power to account. He's now exposed all the problem senators, and boom, right back to normal. All of a sudden, Donald Trump's got everybody on board for this next pick, who's obviously 10 times more qualified for the position. Sure, she's not Matt Gaetz, and Matt Gaetz is a beloved character, but if we're looking at real qualifications, I mean, she's got the goods. Plus, she's probably on the exact same agenda as Matt Gaetz, and so essentially the leftoids are celebrating here because they stopped Matt Gaetz, but now they've got Pam Bondi, a much bigger problem to deal with. It's an interesting situation. It almost feels like psychological warfare. Donald Trump's tapping into his opponents, getting himself some crucial intel, completely playing the left and also playing the rhinos in his own party, who now all of a sudden, in stark contrast to the previous pick that we so vehemently opposed, oh, Matt Gaetz never, everyone seems to be oohing and eyeing over this Pam Bondi pick, even the establishment types. It's almost like they think it's a win for them, but this is another Trump cabinet pick that pretty much goes right along with every other, maybe excluding Marco Rubio. In other words, it's not exactly the win that they think it is, and Donald Trump seems to be running tactical, strategic circles around them. It might be one of those 4D chess moments, like, I don't know, maybe I'm reading into it too much, or maybe I'm right on the money. Honestly, this whole thing seems orchestrated. I never really saw Matt Gaetz as the type to back down from a fight, and obviously this was a fight. What they were doing to him was totally unfair, although it also wasn't exactly surprising that he would bow out and do the honorable thing. But I just didn't see him backing out from a fight, especially if he had Donald Trump backing him up. So I think the more obvious conclusion is that this whole thing was orchestrated. They knew what they were doing since day one. Call me crazy, call it a theory, whatever it is. It just seems like the most obvious conclusion, at least for me. This is no win for the left. This is Trump playing him like a fiddle. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.